Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. I think it's working. Hey Digo, how's it going? Hey SCG Punisher. Hey Modular. So I just need to position my camera properly. It's going to maybe take a few minutes when the process actually started. Hey, wait, am I pronouncing that right? Michovil? Hey Alessandro. Needs more eyes there. How are you guys doing? So, I have, well, a few plans to finish a few things, or let's say my to-do list is really long. So on the to-do list is finishing Sylvanas finally, and well, while it looks like maybe there's not a lot left to do, I still need to do certain things. I need to work on certain things. For example, I need to finish all the skulls on the side and then do the trimmings. And all the detailing is, well, not all of it, but most of it is still to do. There's still some hair left to fix or to detail. And yeah, it's still going to take maybe 2 days or so. Ah yeah, and she also needs the ears, like Modula said, that's true. But I'll do these probably last, or let's say I'll do these towards the end, or as one of the last steps. And then when I have them, I'm probably going to bake them, and then as the last step, I'm going to, you know, put them there and then integrate them into the hood. Obviously, you know, like this, it's probably too much, so just to balance out and see what the right size is and so on. I'm probably going to skip the eyebrows. I don't know how to do these, honestly. At least not in an over-exaggerated way, if that makes sense. So let's see. Want to start by doing the skulls. Let's see. Can we zoom in a bit more? Maybe like that. It's kind of tricky to get the focus right, and then to stay, because it's the plane of focus very small. Definitely need to work on getting a new camera that can handle that better, but we'll see. Hey Psych Marine, thank you Modula. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, the primal focus of this stream is going to be getting all the detailing right. And here I'm just going to add the volumes for the lower jaws. Already did it all here. So these are more sophisticated already. Now I have to do the same thing on this side. And so I'm going to try to hold it more steadily for the camera, so that it actually picks up what I'm doing. But sometimes I'll just have to drag it around, and then it's going to be out of focus. But that's just the way it is, because of the really small scale of the sculpture. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want to see anything else of my stuff, for example, last time we did this guy on. What's the focus? Yeah, this guy on YouTube, for example. And I've been detailing him a bit, and he'll soon be finished. This is just going to be an anatomy bust for, you know, nothing really themed, just an orchid that you can maybe add on to as a sculpture, or you know, sculpt some add-ons, maybe hair or mohawk or some jewelry or armor or whatever, and then have fun with it, or just paint it like that. That should be a thing that you can finish in maybe a few days, and I'll for sure have a lot of fun painting it. But I also, like I said, that's it's not as high on my priority list as finishing Sylvanas, and I also want to get the video out on YouTube too. The correct tile here. Let's see. Sorry guys, almost there. Okay, there we go. Can I ask you a stupid question? What is the Death Merchant from? That's a long story. Well, long story, but it's I found the artwork, or I found an artwork, an artwork on the internet, and if you type !Mr. Lee and then you go to to the page of the Death Merchant, then you can see the artist's name, or the artist's name that put up the artwork. I found it on artstation.com, and I asked him whether or not it's okay to use that basic artwork to put my own twist on it, and he said yeah, just quote me. And I also realized he was inspired by Dark Souls, so it's indirectly influenced by Dark Souls. Hey Oxy, how are you doing? Yeah, it's like I said, it's a conglomerate of ideas. So he was inspired by Dark Souls, the game, and I was inspired by his artwork. And you can see, like I said, you can find the name if you type Mr. Lee, !Mr. Lee, in the chat, and then visit the site or the page of the Death Merchant and pull the name. I don't know it by heart. So if you pull up that site, it's going to tell you the name of the artist, and it's going to show you or lead you to, or that name is going to lead you to the ArtStation profile of the guy. It's really annoying that I can't really rely on my autofocus because yeah, my camera's not that good. This phase or the Death Merchant? So I finished her phase, and I kind of touched her nose a few times, like really badly with the with my nails, and it screwed up the nose a bit. So I have to, when everything is done, I need to go over the nose once again. So that has been a bit of a bummer. But I guess it's okay. Thanks a lot, Kuja Painting, for your subscription. Very kind of you. Feel free to link your YouTube in chat. So Kuja is also doing a lot of YouTube videos. YouTube painting tutorials, and I quite enjoy them, so why not go check him out. Enjoy the emote. Singular. I wish I had this talent, but Sunny is trying to make a saucer shape of a clay. Out of clay? Yeah, so I mean, I can only repeat it. The thing is, I don't actually think I'm that talented. A lot of what I do is focusing, well, you know, obviously, since I've done it a couple times now, there's things that I can do more easily now. But when I started, it has been a lot of work and a lot of just looking at stuff, references and tutorials, and going, you know, to workshops and thinking about reality. For example, if you do a skull, you have to learn all the features, or if you do a face, you kind of have to learn a few features by heart that will make everything a bit easier in the end. So on the creative front, I wouldn't say I'm that talented. A lot of it is hard work and just really, you know, taking a passion and putting the work in. And since it's a passion, it doesn't feel that bad to put work in, but it is work nonetheless. And nothing that you see here kind of fell into my lap. And I still don't consider myself among the really good sculptors. So likewise for painting, by the way. But still, I just, you know, I enjoy it, and I try to grow with every sculpture, and that's what you need to do. Hey Joe is watching. An eye for detail, yeah, exactly. So having, and also, you know, not only having, since you mentioned other streams, it's not only about having the eye, but also being willing to go the extra mile. And especially with streaming, that could be off-putting and irritating to a lot of viewers that are there to maybe get tips and tricks on their army painting, or, you know, that don't actually want to put in all this work. And then obviously other streams that are quicker, and when there's a lot of stuff happening in a shorter period of time, are more how do you say it, appealing than what I do. But it's okay. I don't want to change for viewer numbers and all that. I'll just do what I do, and I know that there's a lot of people that enjoy it, so it's all good. It's just never going to have the numbers of, you know, other streams that have different goals. And that's why I've also gotten rid of most of the overlay stuff, since it's never going to happen, you know, having a lot of subscribers and all that. I know that, you know, my dedicated viewership is gladly helping me out on Patreon, and they're getting something back too, so it's all good. And I, you know, can't obviously stream everything, so when I'm working on a NDA sculpt, maybe can't stream that, and so I can have a schedule, but it's all good. I'll just do what I can and do what I do, and if people enjoy it, that's fine, and if not, then not. 90% hard work, 10% talent. Yeah, maybe. I mean, talent is definitely going to help you with how much work you have to put in. I won't deny that, but it's not all talent, you know. And I'm doing this since a couple of years now. And I'm also, sometimes I'm slow and I'm not really taking the best route and all that. Yeah, that's just things that you have to take into account. Okay, I just want to make sure that all the volumes are roughly the same. I mean, all the proportions rather, for the skulls. Just roughly. And then if the skulls are different from one to the other, that's actually fine. Hey Morph. I don't like the word talent. It seems to imply there was no work behind attaining the skills. Yeah, exactly. So I still use the word talent, and I mean, there is certain people that obviously learn faster and, you know, maybe have a bit more of I don't know, feeling as far as having the haptic skills, or muscle memory faster and so on. So I definitely think there's a bit of that involved, because I mean, let's face it, there is, I mean, tick sports there, so your genetics are going to or give you possibilities that other people don't have, but you still need to put in the work to improve and learn and all that. So talent, however, is not everything. But yeah, you are correct. I would say it masks, or it introduces the idea that there was no work involved, and that's something that I also mention a lot of time. Yeah, you can, I mean, you can always put in links, you know, for example, if you want to show something that you are talking about, that's fine. There's no timeout needed so far. As in, people have not been stupid yet. But yeah, you can also do exclamation mark Mr. Lee. Exclamation mark Mr. Lee is going to bring up the link, and everyone can do that too. Thank you, Kuja. Yeah, I also need to finish the Death Merchant, but I want to put this on track and send it to the caster so I can paint it up. Just recognize that music since I'm using the YouTube audio library, I think it's called. I recognize that music from using it in a video. It's kind of funny. Hey Flixer. Some people just like to see the world burn, exactly. But again, so far we have been kind of, well, at least I have been not as, you know, I have been obviously not attracting that much viewership, so it's also by nature not going to have as many trolls or malicious people. Okay, that looks a bit like an ape. Let's see, I'm going to put in the higher, what is it, higher? The forehead a bit higher before working on the jaw. And again, just in general, there's a few rules that you can follow with skulls. They are usually about as wide as they are high, at least to the lower jaw. What else? The forehead is roughly 1/3 of the full face, and there's things like that. I think I talk about it in a couple of sculpting videos that are on the main page of YouTube, or my main page of YouTube. So yeah, again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. It's that's why I'm here. And the more questions people have, the easier it is to answer, of course. The bust is pretty cool too. Which one? What are we face palming for? Okay, kind of getting distracted because this isn't in line, but should be easily fixable. Okay, thank you, Fixter. Oh yeah, it's going to be fun to paint, definitely. Really looking forward to it. You always need to check the profile so you can see that the mouth box should probably come a bit more to the front. So let's put in these volumes just a tiny bit more. Now, who is this? Just say your first name. But yeah, I salute you, student. Have you thought about trying 3D modeling? I have tried, or I have thought about it, but it's not really appealing. It's not really appealing to me because, not because of the results. You can obviously get very decent results and interesting results. And also, you know, things like maybe fingers and hands are more easily done, since you don't need an armature and all that. So it's kind of intriguing in that regards, but it's also losing the whole, okay, I'm touching that thing and I'm putting a tool into something and I'm actually pushing clay. It really loses that appeal. So yeah, that's yeah, as far as results go, I definitely thought about it, but it also, you know, takes some time to learn a new set of skills, and right now I don't really have that time. Too much else to do, and it also loses that aspect, like I said. What have you missed, Slivery Squid? Don't know. What have you missed? It gives me an idea, but I need to talk to you offline about it due to the gray area on fan art licensing. Is it the idea you already talked to me about? I don't know, what is this? I wonder if you could 3D print the skeleton and sculpt on top. What skeleton? As in an armature? You definitely could. Why not? Depends a bit on what clay you're using and if you want to bake it or not. Whether you know, if you're using clay that has to be baked. Oh, another idea, commission. Holy crap. Let's hope it's not another Flixter miniature that I can sculpt on stream. Because it's too tiny. Then again, I have found a good solution for sculpting tiny things on stream. So yeah, you can definitely do that, Joey. You can print armatures and then work with these. So Pixter, Raphael Picard, no, Picard? What's his name? I forgot. Raphael. Anyway, Pixter on the internet has printed a skeleton of a giant that he did for a crystal brush entry, I think, and then he sculpted flesh over it. So that gives you the idea of what you can also do. But yeah, obviously you can just print armatures and work over them. But I can probably do that faster with just wire. Hey Jasmine, hey, wait, I'm missing chat. Circan, yeah, in the house. How's it going? Oh no. I can scroll up and chat. Give me a second. She's like Sylvanas? She's Sylvanas. He wants to commission a what? Schicke ihm kommt Schule zurück. Yeah, but there is no need for a biology teacher there. Let's see. Same scale as this bust, okay. But I don't do full body sculptures in that scale. Don't forget that. Portrait of himself. Do you think he's that narcissistic? Okay, I'm missing some chat here. Hey Sultan, how's it going? Student invasion. So what are you guys doing at the moment? Are you still at Karajangasse? Probably not, huh? Hope you're not just sitting at home playing video games. Yeah, it's also on Twitch. So you kind of hard to put that in focus, like I said. Good, stay in school, kids. I think I should go back to having a bit more over the shoulder view when I'm sculpting, as top view might be not the optimal. Who is teaching you in biology at the moment then? Who is your teacher? Who is Herr Yeah? Oh, okay. She is a lot more strict than I was. Also, that name is spelled wrong, by the way. Image on Discord don't show could be part of a series. I suspect you might get viewers while doing it live. I want to get it cast. Cast. I want to get it cast, then offer them as commissions or giveaways that you can directly sell. Okay, yeah. Watching on TV and typing on my phone. Oh, dude, does that give me twice the viewers? I have no idea. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, that would probably give viewers, you know. But the question is, I mean, yeah, definitely you can sell those. But it's probably also going to attract a certain kind of viewership. Painted ups, fan art, and commission items, probably. I mean, sure, it's not a bad idea. I mean, why would you not do the whole, oh, this is very popular thing? Question is if you might be too late for the train. Maybe it's on the downswing again once they are finished. Alaikum salam, Alper. You guys might maybe just try to be a bit more respectful. It's not like, you know, I don't still know your teachers and all that. PS4 won't let me read or type in chat, so I open it on phone and pause the stream and type in here. Oh, okay, I see. How would you normally type on a PS4? Could you type? I don't really own a PS4 or any PS for that reason, or for that matter. How do we get some focus here? I want one for me in the first image sent is my favorite persona. Okay. Yeah, it's still if it's mainly a project of personal interest, and then if it can kind of secondarily add a bit of viewership, then that's good. Okay, controller on Twitch, I see. Yeah, I've never really owned any console. I stopped owning or playing consoles with the Nintendo Entertainment System. That was my, well, it wasn't my first. I think I had some form of, what was the one that had these fake wood panels and where you had a joystick that was like just one button and then that joystick? Was it Atari Home System or whatever it was called? That was my first console. I barely remember that. Where you could play like Pong. And then the last one that I had was the NES. And when I got a computer, I never looked back. PC Master Race. You can get the, okay, Atari 2600. You can get a keyboard attachment, but I can't be bothered with that. Yeah, I kind of understand that. Okay guys, let's see. Okay, still need to do the same here. So putting in the volumes for the forehead and the upper area of the skull, obviously. And then the lower area, the jaw. Before putting that all in shape. Do you think you may do 75mm sci-fi sculpt in the future or a bust similar to your space sculpt, just larger? 75mm probably not, since we will see. I mean, unless it's like commissioned by a company, but not out of my own drive to wanting to do something like that. A bust, definitely. So I have this one here that I still need to finish. So this one is going to be part, and the first release is going to be for mid-October. There's going to be another robot. I don't know where I have it yet, or at the moment, but she's going to be released in the series of science fiction busts or half figures. She still needs obviously some work. She's going to hold a rifle, and she's going to hold a rifle, and there's going to be another soldier. Along with that, a male soldier, and they're going to be like a trinity, a triple release, or a series of releases rather. Hey Snick, how's it going? I prefer PC gaming, however I get severe RSI. Okay, I see. My wrist's about 20 minutes playing the WoW days and doing Molten Core. Cool sculpture. Hey Connie, glad I tripped over the stream while browsing around for sculpting videos. Okay, cool. Thanks for popping in, and thank you Leonida 1872 for following. Sculpting while watching a sculptor stream is always nice, gives good mojo. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I mean, if you want to share your work if you have a gallery or something like that. Feel free to link it. Sculpts seem like they're pretty difficult to sculpt. Actually they are difficult, as there's a lot of knowledge going into, you know, where the muscles attach and what parts of the face are still or are made up out of muscle tissue and fat tissue and all that. But they're fun, and once you just need to learn all the landmarks really, and it's good knowledge also, like I said, for sculpting faces in general. It's not like it's a lost knowledge to learn all these landmarks. How do you continue working on the same sculpture after the polyclay is partially hardened after some days? I mean, the thing is, it never really hardens. I mean, this is super old stuff, and you can see I can still move it around and detail it. It's no big deal really. Or add to it and smooth it. Okay, that wasn't really what I was trying to do, but you get what I mean. It's not like it's getting super hard. I actually like that it hardens a bit, but it's not like it's unworkable all of a sudden. I like that it hardens because I can't push certain things out of shape anymore, if that makes sense. Do you get ad revenue on Twitch? Not really, because I'm only an affiliate and not a partner. So I'm not playing any ads. If you get an ad on Twitch, then that is because Twitch plays one when you tune in and so on. And yeah, I mean, everyone that is watching me really don't mind if you're using an ad blocker. There has been, you know, or how do you say it? If you donate $1 or paint or pledge $1 at Patreon, you know, that is like, I don't know, if you were watching 400 minutes of ads, you know, it's something ridiculous like that. So, you know, if you want to still help me when you're using an ad blocker, just pledge like $1 on Patreon, and yeah, that goes a long way, since a lot of the, well, having high numbers on the Patreon means, okay, that guy's doing something right, and then others are going to want to watch and pledge too. So if you are a partner, then you can choose when to play ads, and you get like a percentage of even the ads that Twitch forces your channel to play. Something I'm definitely interested in is purchasing if it goes for casting. Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, can't really do that. But you know, you are on the Discord anyway, so follow the updates there, if you know what I mean. How easy would you think? Wait, how easy do you think it would be to learn to sculpt without having drawing background? I don't have a drawing background, as in I haven't really studied it. I just dabbled. I did some sketches, you know, as a kid and whatnot, but I have zero background in. I mean, I studied biology, and not even there. I didn't really learn any anatomy there, if that makes sense. It's all just, there's so many references around. Just look at the references and try to learn from observation and read some books on anatomy, and you also don't really need a ton of them. If you have anatomy for sculptors, there's a PDF floating out there, by the way, just saying. That's almost enough. and I really enjoy my crochets because those are 3D references. That's always a step up from just books, from just pictures to look at. If you can turn something around and study it more in depth. At our viewership, it's not substantial. Yeah, I think Rekful, for example, when he has like 15 to 18,000 viewers, makes $110 for a whole stream ad revenue. So you can do the numbers. And I don't even, you know, I have like 27 viewers on average, and it's constantly going down. It's not going up really. It's just when I come back to streaming, I usually get like 30, and then it's like, okay, dropping more and more. So ad revenue would constantly drop too. Can you show the face real quick? Here we go. Like I said, I did the face and did most of the detailing, and then I kept working on it, and I accidentally hit it a couple times with a finger, so I have to put in maybe an hour or two in the end to make it sharper again, but that's the overall structure of the face. I kind of like it in this view. Tried to somewhat go with Gillian Anderson's face, since she is the voice of Sylvanas. I do live in Austria, yes. Or I am Austrian, let's put it that way. Have you ever thought about getting a Yakuza, a pole, and 2 strong independent females in skimpy outfits for some additional viewership? Yeah, actually no, because... So the thing is, I just want to sculpt and talk about it, or paint, you know, and talk about it, and we can talk about all kinds of stuff that comes up on stream. It's fine if we deviate, you know. But I don't want to put on a show, I don't want to... do anything for viewership, and I kind of accepted that is what it's going to be on Twitch or on stream in general, because, well, it's just not that attractive to viewers, right? Viewers want to be entertained, and it has to be an explosion of whatever, and you know, you have to build a community, and I am not good at social media. I don't know what I need to do to be more likable to viewers and all that, and you know, I don't know how to build a community, let's put it that way. If you were asking me, okay, how do you put see, that's very nice. Jens Christensen, thanks a lot for that $1. Like I said, that means a lot to me, because that is +1 on the Patreon page, and it's saying now 85 instead of 84. You know, you can still use AdBlock and all that, and it supports me so much. I can't even say how much I appreciate that pledge. So thanks a lot. So yeah, that's a really good way, you know, following your favorite artists on social media. +1 every social media and all that. I can't stress it enough, and you know, $1 +1 on Patreon helps so much, like I said. So thanks a lot. And what was I saying? Yeah, I don't know how to create a community. It's not in my nature. It's not like, you know, I can't even, you know, put it in words how much I suck at that. And therefore I can only do what I love on stream and hope people appreciate it. Yeah. and therefore I have not thought about doing that. I mean, I might have thought about doing stuff like that, but I have to do what I can live with on stream. You know, if it feels cringy to me, I'm not going to do it. Just trying to learn sculpting. Have you done some 32 pieces over the past weeks? Over the past weeks, not, no. I'm more of a painter from the start anyway. So if you go to Putty and Paint and search for my name, so Travarian, Putty and Paint, if you Google that, it's going to bring up my gallery. 1,000 ad views is the oh yeah, 1% of those viewers put in a $1 pledge on Patreon. It's 10, numbers don't lie. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, if 10% of my patrons would, not patrons, YouTube subs would give $1 for all the content that I produced, then that would be, I could even put out my my whole content for free, and that's what I really want to do. I don't want to be behind any paywall, and that's not just saying, you know, oh, look at me, how good I am, but I really have the urge to reach as many people as possible with my Patreon videos, but I can't, because I would simply not be able to pay the rent, and so I need the Patreon money for the rent and eating, you know. So yeah, I honestly want to put everything I have out in the open, and you know, have like 1/10 of my viewership pledge $1 each month. Then I would be set. I wouldn't need anything else. But it just doesn't work, and yeah, that's just human nature, you know. Gotta force happiness and enthusiasm all the time. Yeah, I can't do that. You can't get very high viewership on creative, seems like, unfortunately. Yeah, true, but you know, there are still creative viewers that have managed to do that. So most or a lot of them have been there from the start, and we're going through the whole hype and a lot of followers, and it's the new thing, and then everything moved on to IRL, and that's the new thing, and they feed off of that. Yeah. And obviously some are more likable than others, and some just know how to build a community, and that's also helping. Just doing Crystal Brush, but that's another thing. Crystal Brush isn't even the, you know, just like Game Stays and Golden Demons are not really the thing that show that you can paint. It's just, I mean, it's in the US. Am I going to pay $1,000 for a flight, you know, just to be entered to, or just to have a shot at winning something at Crystal Brush? I don't have the money, so it's not like every or all the other good painters are going to be over there. And so it's more of a localized competition.
Who is your daddy?
You know, with people that are happy or lucky enough. Oh my, Flickster, thanks a lot for that pledge. So I hope you enjoy the PDFs at that level, and I really appreciate the thought behind the pledge and the support. Don't know what to say. Thank you. Is the grey stuff Super Sculpey firm or something else? Yeah, it is Super Sculpey firm. Let me just go through the chat. I'm all for show once live live and having fun, but building the stream outside of that is tough, and the money isn't really substantial to like 4-figure viewership. Yeah, exactly. If you need more neon signs, oh, you need more neon signs. No, it's I hate all that. I want to be minimalistic, you know. I want to have a certain aesthetic in the stream. I can't do all that. The best thing about supporting Tron is just found out it's a thank you video. Yeah, indeed, the thank you video was the first thing that I did, and I thought, good idea, and yeah, there we go. yeah, you're indeed awesome. Crystal Brush is a bit sus because of the public voting system. Yeah, and that's added, right? So you have 50% or whatever percentage of a public vote, which is basically a contest of who is more known, who is more liked, who has the most viewer followership on social media and so on. Yeah, exactly. That's what you said too. Stupid necessity to eat and live. I wish you good luck with your Patreon. Thank you, Kara. Yeah, it's like I said. Honestly, if I could, I would put everything out there for free, but unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. You get more money on Patreon than Twitch, according to the pirate. Oh yeah. You get so of $5 you get about 4.1. I would say it's not it's about 1/5. So it's definitely better to support there. Being sarcastic. I don't know what I said. I mean, obviously, if you are saying neons, of course, I know that it's sarcastic, but still, it would be interesting to add more visual elements and have stuff that people can interact with other than the streamer. Yeah, that's always helping. And there's streams where you have a currency system, and then, of course, Twitch wants a lot of chat to happen and interaction and people typing stuff. That's how they measure success of a streamer, on top of viewers. So all these things help, but I just don't want to bother with that, because that takes away time from what I love to do, which is sculpting. And yeah, and I just want to share that passion. It's not like I started streaming because I knew that you can't really get rich off of streaming. It can only ever be a hobby. So, but it's still a great hobby, and I enjoy it. So yeah, that's where I am. Thought the viewers voting was for an overall win, but you can still win an award in your category and has nothing to do. Yeah, sure. But still, it's just, I know I'm going to offend people by saying that, but Crystal Brush is not going to, or is not saying who is the best painter in the world. It's not. And neither is any other localized event that not a lot of people from the other side of the planet can go to. It's just in the nature of how the contest is, or where the contest is situated. And then also, and I'm going to offend a lot more people, but the the USA painters have a different tradition than the European painters, for example, and there's a different style, and it's not necessarily the style that is considered, well, how do you call it, progressive, right? So it all depends on what you are looking for and all that, of course. But the US has a lot of growing to do as far as styles go, and coming up with interesting ideas in painting and so on. And you don't have to agree, but that is a general consensus. I mean, ask Pirate Monkey Painting, and he is a big proponent of trying to push the American way of painting forward, which I agree that it needs. And obviously, if you don't believe me, maybe you want to believe him, because he's in that situation. Anthony says he prefers the Patreon support. Yeah, obviously. Hey, Conaman Studio, you guys have great competitions in Europe. I watched a couple of them, but your work sparks volume of your skills. I can't even do any of the stuff you do. Please keep up the awesome work. Thank you, Conaman. Thanks a lot. And yeah, it's, you know, I often say it, it's, you have, on a very confined space, you have so many nations that have different backgrounds, different inspirations. Real life sculpting in Austria, classes, yeah, I need to think about it. Can you write PMs? I don't know. Is it? I don't know. I stand corrected. Wait, I'm super missing out on chat. You guys are going crazy today. Let's see. Let's catch up on that so I don't miss anything. Oh, okay, that was towards the voting system. For me personally, as a consumer of Twitch and Patreon, I like the balance of both, as Twitch gives you that one-to-one interaction. Yeah, true. But you get the juicy stuff on Patreon. Yeah, again, I would like to put it all out for free. I can't repeat it enough, and I don't care if anyone thinks it's an act, but that's just the way it is. The US scene seems to be quite flat as style goes, with minimal shading, highlighting one light source. Yeah, it's hard to put the finger, but there's a lot of traditional painting going on there, sort of what was happening in the early 2000s in Europe. But then, like, what I was trying to say is, and I'm sorry, I'm rambling a lot today, but you guys are bringing up interesting topics, so I like to talk about that. There's so many nations with different backgrounds and different art styles and all that, and different influences in a more confined space that is the continent of Europe, right? When you compare that to the US, which is 400 million people in a single country, and only so many differences in cultures and all that. And in Europe it's clashing a bit more, and there's the influence from the Spanish, and the French are influencing the Spanish, and the other way around. And so there's oh yeah, you can contact me on Facebook, that's a good idea. But yeah, that's just a different way of how styles interact with each other, and so many new sparks that are being lit. It's just a difference in culture, really, and that also reflects in painting. And that's nothing you can say, okay, that's not true. So, you know, can disagree, but that's just how it is. It's my own fault. Yeah, but usually Twitch is like silent, so why not? Chat is going so fast, better switch to sub mode only. Oh my god, indeed. Do you find that US paint more to play than display? Yeah, so I don't have the numbers, but it has that feeling, let's put it that way. I think in general there's a lot more people obviously that paint for gaming, and that's fine, right? Because some people just simply like the gaming aspect more, but also like the painting, and then they just want to have painted armies. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the question of tradition, and in the US I feel like painting miniatures is still in the tradition of having painted armies on the table, if that makes sense. And development in that phase is slow. It was happening in the oh right, that was not half an hour. But yeah, Europe was going through that phase just maybe like 10-15 years earlier than the US. And yeah, like I said, there was so much more room to, or not room, but over intersecting ideas at that time, which just sparked all these different styles and progress. And the US is going to get there, it's just not. It needs a lot of, you know, letting go of old thoughts and accepting new ones. Or not accepting, but just not adapting, just being open to certain things. Yeah, see, Ben Comets has been one of the persons, obviously through, well, if not the person that has had, obviously through Painting Buddha, had the luck to have, you know, struck a nerve with painting tutorials, and he's still living off of that. Don't think he's the best painter. He's obviously one of the quickest painters with his techniques. But yeah, there's some, you know, sometimes you have to, I don't know, probably consider different painting styles too. But any, and I'm going to go on a limb here, but any of the more quicker painters, of the commission painters that have Patreons these days, they just developed those techniques to be faster with their commission painting. So purely out of, you know, trying to be faster, getting more commissions done, and now these techniques have a really big following. It's the same with the Spanish guys, and they even say it, you know. They've been moving away from layering and that, or, you know, blending with glazes. Ben is the daddy, Kill is the granddaddy, Haley is the high matriarch. Yeah. But yeah, they have been moving away from glazing and all that, in order to be able to paint more commissions, so to make a living off of painting, right? And now these techniques are highly valued, even though they might not always produce the best results. But they definitely have an interesting take on miniature painting, and a good way to increase the contrast. And that's what you need with miniature painting. Good contrast. Haley, yeah, she's not really out in the open anymore. At least not on the internet. I don't really know what she's doing at the moment, if she's still painting a lot and so on, but she used to be a really, really good painter back in, well, the early 2000s, to like 2010. Then it got a bit more quiet. I think she's still doing stuff, and she's an American paintress who has a really unique style, and a good style, and different style from most of the other American painters. Ben helped me get a lot better. Yeah, sure. I see some of his style in your painting videos. Yeah, most of all pushing the contrast, I want to say. Personally, I don't like the extensive use of white, but obviously that's just my personal preference. So one of my ex-students just told me, "This is already done, what am I still doing there?" And I find that quite funny. Because that is the, you know, average attention span. Since obviously it's not done because it's lacking a lot of detail. Sergio has pretty interesting approach. He barely thins his paints and glazes at the very end. Yeah, we've been talking on my Discord yesterday. It's nothing new. But it's also, you know, it is a way to speed up your painting for commissions to be faster. And he even says that he developed that style. Hey Miriam, blew my mind and was totally different to how I learned from other folks. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing that since forever, really. If you look at but now it has a name and all that. But if you look at, you know, my gold non-metallic, I have developed that roughly at the end of 2009, I would say. And that it's all the rage nowadays, and it is really close to how the Spanish paint at the moment. They just, you know, put it out there, and in 2009 I was nowhere. I was just painting for myself. Well, not nowhere, but not in public. I was mainly painting for myself, for the enjoyment of it and all that, and I didn't even think about, you know, that things like that could be interesting to people, but exactly. Not a good teacher, not good enough, and not enough time. Yeah, but I mean, wait, what was the reference to? Oh, when is your Patreon coming? Okay. I mean, a lot of the people that have Patreons these days, it's not like they started yesterday. A lot of them have been painting since a decade or longer, and they have been through all these phases. They sucked at miniature painting eventually. I did suck at miniature painting, and I think I sucked for a long time, simply because I didn't have I had to learn it all by myself. Oh, kids are out. I had to learn it all by myself, and so have a lot of people, like all these guys, for example. But nowadays there's so many resources out there. There's workshops that you can go to and so on, so it's a lot easier to paint or to learn. Thank you, Miriam. Yeah, so it can be a lot faster to learn these things nowadays. Come back. They don't have a job there. They have too many biology teachers. Cushion painting loves a good editing session. Yeah, so I need to do a couple of YouTube videos again and have them highly edited again. Actually, I'm going to do one on I'm going to do one
How did you find me?
On how to win a golden demon. Miss Cutie Wolf, thanks for following the stream. Welcome. You know, guys, being nice to people doesn't mean you are a Schleimer. It's just being a human being, guys. But I know that's hard to understand when you are 15. Yeah, outside your house? No, they are right outside that window and they're screaming, but they have been silent for quite a while. They have been... Well, usually it starts at 11 AM and goes on since forever, or to forever, so to like 10 in the evening. That's when they start going home. But today it hasn't been as bad. On a Sunday, well, why not on a Sunday? It's like, that's when the parents, well, have even more time to bring them outside, right? I have a friend named Glenn Borlotti. He's a miniature painter. Miller does articles for Fine Scale, Model, Real magazines, and he's showing me pictures. Oh, I missed that. He's showing me pictures. He's amazed by artists and Europe and Korea. I'm not quite sure what you were trying to say. Leo Bolos, these are students of mine. I was teaching, and I was teaching at a school, and you know, that's just how students are sometimes. And yeah, it's not nice, but I mean, what can you do? They obviously think it's cool. So don't be bothered by them. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, actually I am at that school quite regularly. I still play wallball there, guys, so, you know. Maybe think about what you are saying online, because everything you say online is going to be there forever. Where do I buy those soft tip tools? Amazon or local stores. So I bought mine locally, but you can see that it is already really old and used. It's still working, and simply because once you find one that has a really good tip, then you're going to be happy, because sometimes they will have perturbations and errors and so on, but once you find the perfect one, you're going to want to keep it since forever. And I have bought this locally, but let's see if I have another one here somewhere. Actually no, because that's about the only one that I use regularly because of the shape. You have a round shape and a tip that's good for detailing. But if you want to buy these, go for Royal Sovereign UK Limited. Royal Sovereign UK Limited. Color shapers, and these are size 0. So Royal Sovereign UK Limited, size 0, and buy the firm version. It's still soft enough to work. So a schoolyard, there's a kindergarten at the top level, just, you know, like 2 stories up. Oh, okay, now I get it. Yeah, but there's also a playground down there. So, yeah. During the week, it's double the noise. You always learn. I painted for Grenadier models before they sold out everything, but I'm still learning because, okay, I see. Because the skill set now is so much higher, don't let people say you're doing something wrong. Yeah, exactly. It's you experiment with your style, you try new things, and yeah, don't let you know, do what you like, do what you enjoy. Why did you stop teaching biology? It was a lot of reasons. I wanted to try other things. And also that job I had at your school was kind of limited to 3 years, because someone else was coming back from having, you know, children, and she was entitled to that job. So I was only a Vertreter. That's what I was at that school for 3 years. Puberty or biologically guaranteed madness for at least 5 to 10 years. Yeah, it is. And some more, some less. And that's what it is, you know? And in classes, you have a lot of kids that are you know, nice, and you have those that, you know, try to be cool and all that, and they try to challenge you and all that, and yeah, you have to accept it. It's just what it is. It's because everyone's different, and some days you work better with it, and some days it's getting to you. But yeah. Hi, welcome, Kara. Do you guys think it's a good idea to buy all the Vallejo paints or just mix your own? I mean, if you have the money, why not? There's less things to remember, less recipes to remember, if you know what works and so on. Okay, I got really distracted here. That's not really what I wanted to sculpt. So let's go back to the skulls. But I mean, I'm going to buy all the Reaper colors because, I mean, they sponsored me some part of the whole range. But I still have to, if I want all of them, I still have to buy a few of them. But I'm still going to put that money in, just to have them all. So if you have the money, go for it, why not? It's, you know, still a big investment. So if you don't have the money, just think about what you need, or just go, if you have a local store, just buy those that you need for your next project, and then see from project to project. That's also a good idea, maybe. It is my job, this and some other things, you know. I'm teaching grown-ups too in sculpting. And I'm doing videos, and you know, there's things you see on the internet, and then there's other things that you don't see that I do for a job that has to do with this. It's good to have a few pre-mixed colors for certain things if you want to keep the color consistency over several models. Yeah, exactly. Sylvanas is a nice and novel one. My best buddy has was once hangover at Sunday, and his neighbor over his flat has 2 kids. Go. Yeah, but I mean, even the kids outside my window, right? They are just kids. Are you going to be pissed at them? I mean, obviously, if I have the window open, it's eventually driving me crazy, but it's not like, I mean, you know, yeah. Sometimes they will just stand out there and scream, and then you're like, okay, really? Do you have to do that? But what can you do? I had my charts with mixtures with all the colors I used to do for my Chaos War. It's like 80% bleached bone plus 10% vermin brown and so on. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's technically it's better to think, I mean, if you have a local store that sells them, it's no big deal, right? You just go there and buy all of them. Not all of them. Or buy the ones that you need, project by project. I'm not sure I like that song all that much. So what was I saying? Yeah. You can just go and buy what you need, and that would probably be the best thing to do. Because you're certainly not going to need all these colors in the range, because yeah, I mean, I have my favorite colors too, and I'm not using all of them, all of the others, that is. But obviously, you know, if you have the possibility to get them all, why not? Does that mean substitute teacher with 3 years is a long time? Be a substitute here in America, you only get 3 months guaranteed return. Yeah, you know, it's different in Austria. It's completely different from the US. Here you can just say, okay, I'm pregnant, I'm going to have a kid, I need time off, and you don't have to say how long that's going to be. You just, every year they're going to ask you again, okay, are you coming back? And if you're not coming back, then they give that job to someone else for another year. So after 3 years, she said, okay, I'm coming back, and that's when my contract ended, right? So it was only year by year by year. So that's how it works over here. And there's not a lot of teaching jobs open at the moment. I wouldn't personally buy all the Vallejo without trying other paint brands too. Personally, like Scale 75, though. I have more paints by Vallejo and a few by Citadel. Try before you spend. Yeah, sure. That's a fair point. So I have a mixed palette of paints. I'm going to have a full Reaper set because that is the colors that I use, or that I enjoy, because they are matte, but they are also opaque, which for the scale colors is not always true. They are matte, but not opaque. You need a couple of layers. So if you go to my YouTube channel and you check out the painting tutorials, for example the one where I paint the face, you can see that the initial layer, and I'm even cutting after the first layer is applied, it's like 4 or 5 layers until everything was covered smoothly. So I have a lot of scale colors, but I am moving away from them again because of that issue, simply because I want to apply layers that are opaque. Sometimes, sort of the, you know, Spanish, let's call it the Spanish painting style. And you can still water them down and use them as glazes. So those are the colors that I like the most. And I'm going to have a full set. But yeah, Vallejo colors are not bad either. You see, this is a really old one. It's probably 15 years old. Then I have various model colors. For example, I have a few air colors. I also have Citadel colors. Do we have them here anywhere? Yeah. So I put my Citadel colors in dropper bottles too, just because certain tones you can get with certain ranges. No, it's not supposed to be done in a day. It doesn't really, you know, matter how long you take. You just want to have the highest quality in it. Song reminds me of something. I think it's probably gone now. I have a ton of paints I never opened. Yeah, you know, it is the question, do you want to be stingy with the money, which is fine too. And if you need to be stingy with the money, then obviously think by project. But yeah, personally, since I'm definitely going to do this as a job, I want that color range, and I'm going to invest the money into the color range. But yeah, make sure you try everything before you do that investment. Read up on it and so on. P3 are quite nice. Yeah, they are. They are okay. There's nothing wrong with P3. I just at a point I said, okay, I have enough colors, I don't need to invest anymore into P3. And like I said, I found my perfect colors, which are Reaper. But there's nothing wrong with other colors, obviously. You guys press the like button for me. It's working hard to show and telling us a style. We should respect them by pressing the like button. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, don't forget to follow. I have I mean there's 100 plus videos up on my channel. Not all of them are public, but it's like 90% of them are public. So there is a lot of knowledge there. I'm doing both sculpting and painting, so I don't know, I feel kind of out of it today, popping to and from the skulls, but yeah, we are definitely making some progress. So let's see, maybe work on the smoothing now. Right, just forgot to do the temples here. It's a feature that every skull needs, obviously, to make it look like a skull. Okay, here we are, somewhat okay. I can't thin my paints down properly yet, always too watery or too thick. I forgot about the like button, sorry man. Thanks for reminding it, or reminding people. Coleman. Thought about doing a book about how you sculpt and painting because I get a lot of inspiration. I'm looking at Shepherd Paint and other painters, they give me a lot of inspiration. Yeah. Oh, do you mean whether or not I thought about doing a book? If that was your question, then I thought about it, but honestly, I like the video format better. I know that it's a good thing to have a book in your hand, but there's so much work that goes into producing a book until it's done. And yeah, I can just put out videos on a topic and then move to the next topic, and then, you know, maybe not invest anything for a while into tutorials on YouTube. And they're still out there, or the other ones are still out there. As in, if I stop working on a book that isn't finished, it's never going to be out there, you know? So that is why I like it better to work with the video format. But yeah, didn't Shepherd Paint die last year or so? I think that unfortunately happened last year. Yeah, so Reaper gave me a voucher. They sponsored about 2/3 of their paint range of the normal. What is this standing for? Master Series Paint core colors. So they gave me about 2/3 of the full range, and I just bought the rest since they were sending me a package anyway. So they were nice when I asked them. Unlike Scale Color, who never even came back to me. But yeah, it's not because, you know, they gave it to me for free. I mean, I said, guys, I really enjoy your colors and I really want to endorse them because it's what I'm going to be using in the future now. And they said, yeah, sure, here, have a voucher for that much money, and they were nice and everything. I mean, they have been sponsoring a couple of other people too, like Antonio Pena, I think, got a set or whatever, and Banshee, obviously. So doesn't seem like you see people on YouTube use Reaper much. Yeah, probably not. And it's also, my girlfriend said the other day, are you sure you want to use Reaper? Wouldn't it be better to use Citadel for the tutorials because everyone's using those? Or Vallejo? And I said, yeah, but you know, I don't want to do the popular thing. I want to do the thing that I think makes sense, and that it makes sense for me. And I want to be successful that way, and not, you know, by doing the popular thing. And there's another thing that I'm trying to promote. It's not. I want to promote the idea of following recipes only helps you so much in growing as a painter. I mean, obviously, it helps you to duplicate something that someone else did that you really like, and then you learn how he did that. But I also want to make sure you learn that it's important to deviate from these things, and add your own twist and your own ideas to that. That's my thought behind it. And everyone that has seen my Patreon, or you know, not everyone, because not everyone's a vocal viewer, but the people that gave me feedback on the Patreon have actually said they feel that and they understand it, and they were also more brave to adapt, or bring their own style into tutorials and so on. Want to get the Vallejo. Wait, is that just the case? Just the case to carry it is 46 euros? Empty, okay. Yeah, I mean, what can you do? So I bought the Masafudo transport box. That was $100, and it didn't quite work the way they intended it to, at least not for me. Might have been a bad version of it. So yeah, now I'm not using that either. That was $100 thrown out of the window, really. So maybe 46 is not as bad. But yeah, thanks for all the pledges on Patreon today. Like I said, just giving or pledging $1 to the Patreon, because, you know, maybe you're using Adblock and all that, which is fine. I always tell people to use Adblock. But yeah, pledging to the Patreon is really a lot of support, even if it's just $1. Like I said, that goes such a long way, because you can't even watch as many ads as possible. Or yeah, it's like 400 minutes of ads if you were trying to give that through watching ads. And like I said, +1 on social media and Patreon and all that really helps, because obviously then people kind of realize, okay, that guy is helpful, or I have something through following him on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, because there's a lot of other people already following or pledging on Patreon and so on. Oh, why am I out of focus all of a sudden? Okay, so slowly finishing that. Hey, British Jane, how's it going? I built an aluminum case with foam for the Games Workshop Pop myself for less than 20. Yeah, I mean, that's good if you can do it yourself. That's obviously the best solution. Not everybody is Citadel, yes, or Popular Paint. For gamers who are in the product line, there's too many good paints out there, whatever folks. Yeah, exactly. So just use whatever is best for you and what gives you the best results. That's the best way to go. Obviously, it's a bit of an investment to find out which paints are going to be the best for you. So looking at reviews and also just maybe watching painters use those colors is probably the best way to learn. When did you start the sculpture? It's hard to say because it was before my vacation. I would say there's maybe 20 hours invested, maybe a bit more. It's hard to say, but it was obviously a lot faster when I just was putting down the clay. And now that we moved into the detailing phase, it's getting hard to track the time. See, I want to sculpt here, so I have to pull the camera back a bit. That was probably a smart move. Do you bake it to harden it? Yeah, it needs to be baked. So you can work on this a long time. And when you're done, you just bake it and yeah, you're good to go. I just like sculpting like that because sometimes I will just start a project and then it takes a lot of time to finish, but I now have to rush because I always know that I can come back to it and add more clay or take away clay and so on. You get an A for fine brush control, but an F for that marble effect haters gonna hate. Yeah, I mean, so you probably kind of made up your mind on that too, or came to that conclusion too. But the way I consider YouTube comments is if they're asking for something and if they're genuinely interested, I will 100% answer them. If it's only trolling or voting you down, I usually just don't care. And then you must not forget that there's a lot of people also watching that don't really have the knowledge in painting, that, or you know, are maybe fans of someone else and they really like the way that they painted the marble and then they're watching you and then they're like, no, that other guy is way better, so I'm just going to put that one guy down. But mainly, or a lot of the time, it is lack of knowledge, lack of experience, but having a strong opinion that they have to tell you because their opinion matters just as much, at least in their mind. And then yeah, I just say, okay, thanks for letting me know. Well, I don't say that, it's just in my head I say that. I mean, it's not like their stuff is out there to be criticized, right? Okay, so that one is somewhat done. Took ages, but what can you do? And before I move to the teeth, I'm going to finish the other ones. That one is a bit harder to approach, since it's inclined. I've seen some painters buy the cheapest craft paint and get great results. Yeah, sure. It's not always the tools. Tools do help you, you know, get good results, but obviously there's a lot of people that could use sticks or toothpicks for sculpting and will still get great results. That has always been the case. That was a short song, but okay. That skull looks really Games Workshop-esque. But it's okay. Cut from Hassle-Free uses needles attached to a little bit of wood for sculpting. Yeah, I mean... where's my needle? I have a tool like that too. I just don't have it with me at the moment. But you just learn what you need and then you just build your own tools, because I mean, obviously it's a super niche hobby or industry. And you most of the time have to build your own tools because what is out there is too big or not shaped in the right way. So yeah, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, and don't forget to follow. Also check out my social medias. It is just my name on all the social medias. There's links below my stream window, so they are easily findable. And like I said, every +1 helps a lot in the game for exposure. quite interesting. We had so many topics today. Only about 2 hours went by. It feels like 4 hours already. So thanks for hanging out, guys. So the sculpting dude or sculpting guy, I don't know. George Takei features him all the time. He said in an interview once that, I mean, he does really big stuff. You've probably seen a video of his. He said he's, for every sculpt he does, he's building 3 tools at least. That's because, sorry guys, that's because, for example, he does a lot of these rake tools, but there's different shapes in all these objects, and since they're taller, what he does is create like 3 of these in certain shapes, so more triangular maybe. And yeah, it's just the spatulas sometimes need to be different. When you paint your miniatures, do you use an airbrush with your brushwork? So I don't like the I don't like airbrushes. They don't really help me getting better results. It's a bit like digital sculpting versus traditional sculpting. I want to have the brush work on the volumes, and I just like to feel the contact to the miniature. Doesn't mean that an airbrush isn't a legitimate tool to use, but personally I don't like to use them. I do have one, however, and yeah, sometimes, you know, I want to get more into using it, but it's also not like I have a lot of space here. I would have to pull it out and put it away afterwards, and yeah, it's just not practical. So if I had a more dedicated space, I would definitely use it more. But yeah, it works without an airbrush. So of course, the larger you go with the scales that you paint, the better. And obviously also for the smaller scales, if you do batch painting, then airbrushes are an interesting tool. But I don't really do that often, and I'm also not in a rush to finish my stuff. So if you look at all the commission painters, obviously they're always looking for ways to speed up their painting. Personally, I'm not in a rush. I enjoy the process. I'm not always outcome focused. I mean, sure, I'm happy if my stuff looks good and other people like it, but I'm more a process guy. So the actual act of sculpting and painting is what gives me joy, and not necessarily the results. That's why I'm also not really super active in the competition scene.
How did you find me?
Joker XX98, thank you for following the stream. Welcome. Do you make casts of the sculpting or Minecraft individual pieces? So both, but I have some of my pieces cast, but I don't do it myself. Because that's, again, another piece of, or another step that I don't really like to do, because it's more mechanical. It doesn't have to do with the creative process. I like to outsource that, so that I have more time for the actual sculpting. But I usually don't paint the originals, so I will have this one cast before I can paint it, or before I will paint it. Also, do you primarily work on commissions, personal projects, sellable? Yeah, it's a combination of all of that, really. So, if you check below the stream, in the description, there is a link to Mr. Lee's miniatures. That's where the projects that I can sell are situated. Then I do commissions too. I am right now have a contract, well, not a contract yet, but I have a piece by Hero Models that I need to do. I'm doing keycaps for individuals, for example. I have done a lot of D&D characters for private persons, private people. I've worked with Ouroboros miniatures. Worked with Aradia miniatures. Their current Kickstarter has some of my stuff. It's a mixture, and it's fun that way because, and then when I have time, I do personal stuff like that, and obviously that's later going to be on YouTube as a step-by-step video, or more a time-lapse video. I do just, you know, a lot of stuff not to get bored. And that's mainly my focus, really. Just want to do something that keeps me entertained and where I'm not saying, okay, I really hate that, don't want to do it anymore, and this is my shot at doing something in life that makes sense for me, and that also doesn't bore me to death. So I'm always trying to keep it fresh. Just my 2 cents. Sylvanas could just need some well-formed big earlobes. Right now they are so small. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I went for a look. I went for the look that she has in the cinematics. So I guess that's fine. Also, personally, I'm not you know, big earlobes person, so. Do you have a cupboard just chock full of originals? Oh yeah, I do. Actually, it's right here. If you go to my Facebook, there's a video in the top area where there's my logo approaching you, and then there's an overview over that cupboard. Even though it's like a year ago, but it gives you the idea. What did I miss with Nightbot? Oh, okay. Worth dying for. I mean, if you were to succeed, yeah, maybe, but dying for trying? I don't know. Right, so I'm going to put in the work to make them as smooth as these. Now that most of the features are done. And then when that is done, I'm going to put in the teeth. Actually, I think I kind of like them that way. But since I want to paint her afterwards, it's probably a good idea to have them smooth. Hey Crocodile, how are you doing? Hey Blind Aggro, the 6000 you don't by chance... Oh yeah, I do commissions, sure. It just depends on what you want me to do. I usually don't do figures that are bigger than like 8 centimeters. What is that? Like maybe 3 inches. I don't do anything bigger than that. Unless it's busts or half figures, then I do obviously do bigger scales, but like I said, only for busts. I definitely don't do like 1-6 or smaller figures. I don't even do 1-10 figures. Hey Memnor. A bit worn out. Why is that, Crocodile? How long have I been sculpting? On this or in general? It's hard to say. I started 2008, I want to say. So yeah, sorry for that. Are we back? Are we back? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've started somewhere in 2007, 2008, and then went for maybe 2 years or so. And I stopped around 2010, and then I picked it up later again. Took like a 3-year break, I don't know. So in total, I would say maybe 5 years, probably, maybe. But never consistent. I only consistently am sculpting since maybe 2.5 years. I think that was a bit of overheating, maybe a tiny bit. Okay, so let's just finish smoothing what I wanted to smooth. that playlist is a bit too chilled out. But it was worth a try. Thank you, Blind Aggro. Yeah, so I always try to put in a maximum of effort in anything, even if it's commissions. Okay, so if you look at a skull from the side, usually what you want to do is push that in a bit, because that's just the way that a skull works. This part is way back here, and it's not. A lot of people sculpt skulls like this, so this side is right here, but in fact it goes back a lot more. Like that. And that's just one of these observations. Like I said, you really have to look at nature and observe all that, and not just think like, okay, I'm going to sculpt the skull and there's two eyes like this and like that, and then maybe there's a nose here, and then it's like that. And that, of course, kind of looks like a skull. But it's not really that flat, for example. So you also have to consider all the other angles. And usually that doesn't come off of 2D things, so it helps to have a 3D reference to look at. That's why I like my crochets. I would love to paint something like this for years, but not sure my painting skills are quite there yet. Yeah, but the thing is, are you painting at all at the moment? So I always say, if you don't try and or practice, then what can you do? It's never going to get better, quote unquote. I mean, I do understand that it would kind of feel like a waste if you're not happy with the paint job afterwards. I know, Crocodile. It's the same for me when you are streaming. So thanks for popping in, and have a good time. Have a good sleep. Alright, just to add a bit of hair up there. I want it to be a bit more subtle, but still be there. First of all, it supports the hood a bit for casting later, and yeah, it's just a bit more of a detail. Alright. Yeah, what else do we need to do? I need to work on this part. So here there is a lot of room between the spike and the rest And that room kind of got lost over here, so I need to reduce that in size a bit. And push everything up. Welcome back, Mihovil. Hey, Tap. You know Mr. Blind Aggro, or Blind Aggro? Why did I say Mr. there? Pick up one of my busts at Mr. Lee's miniatures or support to get access to. Oh yeah, sure. Thanks for pointing that out, Member. I do in fact have some resources to get better as a painter. If you are looking for that, you know, you can start at the YouTube videos, and yeah, maybe if you like them, check out the Patreon too. The Patreon videos, they go a bit more in depth. Okay, so the alternative will be to cut off that spike, but I don't want to do that. To show the ears, yeah, they are not done yet. I will do them almost last, so when everything else is done, I'm going to do the ears and have them separately and then put them in here, just so I have I can press them in and I have a negative form where they will go in later for assembly. Right now it's just not practical to do them. They would just get destroyed and so on, and also I don't know for casting them later. I don't really know yet whether or not I can put them in. I need to speak to the caster first, but I'm definitely going to do the ears. Some of these songs. Oh hey Mankey, that gave me a heart attack. I almost died. Thank you so much for those. That was very generous. So welcome everybody who's coming over from Mankey's stream. I saw you did Jaina. I really like what you're doing to her. So someone else needs to do the third Warbringer. Then we have a triumvirate of Warbringers. Actually, what's her name? I'm really the one that has the third eye here and the tentacles and it's like that. I really want to sculpt that. It's probably what I'm going to do next. But yeah, thanks. Thank you so much for that host. Very generous. Oh yeah. She has holes for the ears and hood. Yeah, well, the whole. Or do you ask whether or not the actual character has that? I think she has. I mean, I know she has, at least in the cinematics. But yeah, I just roughly put that in, and then like I said, I'm going to do the ears once everything else is done. And when they are hardened or baked, I'm going to put them in, and then I can adjust them, and then I'm going to put the folds around it. If that makes sense. I think it does. Right, where was I? Oh yeah, got sidetracked a bit. So, like I said, I'm just going to bring this spike in line with the other one. It's just a minor detail, but it still needs to be done. So just pushing up the clay before I can do the detailing.
How did you find me?
Pokemonster, thank you for joining the Major League. Welcome. I'm already a patron on the channel, but how do I throw a couple of extra dollars your way for today's stream? You can always go to... I actually don't have a link on YouTube. You can go to my Twitch stream and find the donation button just below the window. That is an option, but of course it's not really mandatory to. You don't really have to quote unquote pay me. I'm doing this as a hobby, and if you are already supporting on Patreon, that already goes a really long way. So don't really have to feel obliged to do so. Oh, does it work through that? Streamlabs. Oh, it does. Okay, let me paste that link. So that is a link where donations are working apparently. Actually, didn't even know that. Thank you, Memnor. Do you want the money or not? I mean, obviously I'm not saying no, but you know, it's not like just doing that for the money. And like I said, I don't want to, how do you call it? Again, I really appreciate all the, well, what Patreons do is basically take the plunge and support what I do, and support regardless of what I do. I want to even add, because you can never know what the creator does next, right? So that's a lot of, how do you call it, upfront trust and generosity. So I really appreciate that in its own. If that makes sense, I hope it doesn't sound stupid. But of course, you know, anything just helps with doing what I do. You are our continuous Kickstarter project. I see what you did there. Only that, I mean, if you're a patron, then you get something anyway. I was about to say only that with Kickstarter you get a physical object out of it usually. But yeah, Patreons do also get that. Well, not physical, but digital anyway. Right, now that I did these skulls, I feel like those look a bit boring. But I don't think I'll go back and redo them. It's just a minor detail, and it's probably not even visible to anyone but me, anyone but myself. Okay, let's continue this.
The most important thing is money.
Keep on keeping on, mate.
Oh no, that didn't say how much. Was it 5? But thanks. Yeah, what, 5? I need to edit that. Put that on full screen. Yeah. So thanks a lot for the $5, Slippery Squid. Much appreciated. Like I said, any donation and support just really helps me do this more often. So thank you. And Holtz Transistor, thanks for joining the Major League. Welcome. Took me a while to realize, but I'm super bad with accepting praise. Like, you did that really well, or that's looking good, and whatever. So, for example, when people come around or came around after the game day and said, yeah, well, really well done on your gold demons and all that, I still have troubles accepting praise. And I also am apparently super bad with accepting support. But thank you again, Slippery Squid. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Even though we were only doing like 3 skulls. But I mean, it's finishing the skulls in 2 hours was actually okay, as in some good progress, because that's most of the detailing done. Once I finish this spike here, then I just have to do the lower part of these shoulder pads, and then just smooth everything and maybe smooth the hair, and then we're more or less done. Exclamation mark hype. This bus looks terrible. Oh no. Yeah, actually I don't feel as I don't know.
How did you find
Feel
me?
less uncomfortable if someone says that. Yappa24, thank you for joining the Major League. Welcome. YouTube is not my full-time job, no. Sculpting is my full-time job. Sculpting and making videos, but not on YouTube, more on Patreon. YouTube for miniatures and busts is not an option because there's not enough viewers in the segment. But sculpting is okay, that spike is a bit off-putting because if you look at it, can you look at it? Can you see it? There's not really a line running down from the face to this spike, well, through the spike to this point here. So all of that needs to go to the back a bit. So this is actually fine, like that. But the whole spike needs to move to the back of it, which kind of sucks. But we'll see how to do that without breaking it. So unfortunately I only realized that now, which means we destroyed a few details, but it still was necessary. So if I didn't fix something like that, I could not look at it once it's baked. Or or even painted, or think about painting. Do you have the pieces you want the trophies with handy? Yeah, but I don't want to show them. Oops, sorry for that. I stopped teaching because my contract ran out, like I said. It was someone else that came back and that got the job back. That's how it works. And there's not that many teaching jobs in Vienna at the moment. So yeah, this is the diorama that won silver. And like I said, I mean, the freehand obviously is okay, but the whole thing is 9 years old, so I still like the freehand, but I would do it totally different by now. I have a lot more understanding about light and shadows. I mean, if you look at the white here, it looks a bit flat. I mean, there's still some shading and all that, but like I said, I have a lot more knowledge by now, and also that skull looks a bit off. And so on, and all the shading here, well, not shading, the gradients are kind of rough still. I can do those smoother by now. Like this side a bit better, but still there's a bit of a weird line work here, not enough contrast in the ego and so on. But that's about the best part of the diorama, right? And then we're moving down, and then there is things like this guy who is painted smooth and, you know, neatly, but nothing special by today's standards. And then there's a few parts that I would paint completely different. For example, the horse. I did use a lot of washes here, and that's simply not my standards today. So yeah, okay, this 9-year-old piece one, and then I have this one that is even less sophisticated. I feel like I mean the base is okay. The clothing is somewhat good with the freehand detailing, nothing special again, just neatly painted. And yeah, I just the face, for example, is too white. There's too much white on the cheeks, but still, and it's also 9 years old. So this one, Silver Demon 2. Everyone loves deathcore. Yeah, they do, huh? Yeah, those were the pieces that won at the European Warhammer Fest, or that won silver in the categories I mentioned. Softer category, yeah, but I mean, it's neatly painted, it's just nothing special. But of course, it was not as hard as the single miniature categories for fantasy and 40k. But still, it's kind of unbelievable that nothing better was there. But then again, like I said, that's why golden demons are not really, you know, the event that is distinguishing super awesome painters from the rest. I don't know how to put it otherwise. Thank you, Memo. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you don't develop in 9 years, then that's a sad thing. So yeah, I definitely agree that it's visible. I mean, unfortunately, it's visible in a way. Yeah, I thought about saying it, but I didn't. But when I was saying accepting compliments, it's kind of hard, and then for those it was even more awkward. But it is what it is. It's Golden Demon. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm going to finish the dual piece. I mean, it has a base already. So it has a base. Sorry, I'm not refocusing because I'm going back to sculpting anyway. Yeah, that's the base, and then there's the miniatures. This one is almost finished, I'd say. Still need to put some depth into the pants. Most of the rest is finished, just small details like the bag and some part up here, yeah, the armband or whatever you would call it. And then here it's almost finished except for the shoulder guards. And obviously the shield. Shield is halfway finished. Let's see, I'm going to show that quickly too. So this is the state of the shield. The non-metallic part is somewhat done. And yeah, obviously the freehand on the shield still needs to be done. I kind of wish I didn't do the did scrape away what was sculpted on there and just painted that, because for a golden demon it would have been enough to just paint that neatly. But for the pitch and video data I'm going to do, it's gonna be fine to have a bit of a space where I can paint the freehand. Hey McBee, you're making me want to start painting again. I used to paint figures for Games Workshop back in the 80s. Oh, that's cool. So were you working at a Games Workshop store, or where did you paint for them? I like the checkered trousers. Yeah, it was a fun little detail. I just didn't know, do I paint stripes or what am I doing? So I just went for a checkered pattern. Hello Danny, how's it going? So yeah, I need to finish these, and yeah, painting is a fun hobby. It's great. Not just sculpting, but painting is awesome too. Oh wait, I think we have a bit of overheating here. It's actually quite hot today. Oh, sorry for that. Okay, back to the spike. It's taking a while, but I want to make sure it is in line with the rest. Worked at the studio in Nottingham for a bit, mainly for features in White Dwarf magazine. I see. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's like I said. I mean, Games Workshop has come a long way, obviously, since then, and it's really fun to paint their stuff. It's also fun to paint other companies, and there's a lot more around, obviously, these days, and that still produce good stuff, or that also produce good stuff. Okay, so maybe just drag that down a bit, so that's the same angle on this side. It was only Citadel and Grenadier back then. God, I feel old. Yeah, there's so much has happened since that time. So many new companies, but again, it's I would say it's all due to Games Workshop being popular, obviously. So in a way, they have paved the way for all the other miniature companies. Okay, let's try one thing. I'm going to smooth most of these parts with turpentine, so let me just get a vessel to put some of it in. Just cleaning that quickly. I think she doesn't meet the Games Workshop requisite number of skulls per square inch. Yeah, it's also really tiny skulls. Oh, that's interesting. My turpentine was open. Okay, let me just quickly get a bit of piece of paper. Hey, ink overflow. Right. Oh, okay, my brush is also not here. Okay, so I have a dedicated brush for the turpentine work, since obviously it's damaging the material, not the material, the brush. And you don't want to use your best brush for this. But this should make smoothing the hair a bit easier. also maybe do a few other areas. While we're at it. What is turpentine? It's don't know the chemical formula. It's not here either. It's something like white spirit, or I mean, some lighter fluid does the same job. What else? Like isopropanyl alcohol. Just helps with smoothing out the clay. I have a video on it up on YouTube if you were super interested in that step. Okay, also up here, just melts the surface a tiny bit, and it helps smoothing out the strokes. And you can also smooth out surfaces a bit better, and for example that line, if I wanted to smooth that out a bit, I would just go over it and make it softer. Okay, so I think I want to also smooth these surfaces. If you look up at the top left, you'll see videos when you open that page. It's the top left. Oh, okay, yeah. So that surface is pretty smooth, but still just putting in a tiny bit of... It just evens out the surface a bit more. What did I miss? Oh, okay. Yeah, I just explained it. So that's 2 hours and I want to say 30 minutes in, 2 hours and 30 minutes into the stream. I just explained it. I mean, I did win 2 silver statues, and I just showed the entries, so you can go back on the VOD to that timestamp. And see them all again. Okay, so after that, smoothed, I never know how to say it, smoothed out. I'm going to go back on it once it's dry, because if I go over it now with a tool, then it's just going to be destroyed. But once it's more dry again, I'm just going to carve out 1 or 2 lines more in that area, and yeah, that's going to be the finished hair, probably. Just like 1 or 2 more details. Just touching on the skull slightly too. It just helps drawing together the smoothness and gets rid of the more unrealistic edges. Okay, that song is weird too. Air Hockey Saloon. White Spirit at the moment, well, it's the same principle, but I use Serpentine, but it's the same principle. Yeah, so that's the playground in front of my window, for people that have been wondering. Right, and most of it is already smooth. I just use it, like I said, to draw together a few elements. The hair wasn't yet that smooth, so that needed a bit of turpentine, and then here these areas. I'm just going to put in the extra work with the color shapers later, because they also help with getting it smooth. Can't really, you know, since I can't really go into these corners here correctly, and well, no, let's put it that way. Smoothing with a brush helps a lot with large surfaces, but also with more organic material like skulls, or here these folds will look super good afterwards. It's simply because of the way that they round edges a bit. That is needed for these folds, so down here too, and it helps getting rid of some of the tool marks that are still visible. So but on sharp lines it's not really as good, for obvious reasons. Like I said, it just helps a lot with rounding. All the drama. They should call it Cry Ground and not Playground, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I could get another microphone, right? But that's also going to cost money. It's not like I'm going to do like that and have the extra, I don't know, 250 bucks for a directional microphone, and then I also have to put it like here, and that's another arm. So there's a camera arm, 2 lights, and I don't know why I should mount that arm to have the mic in my face. I just honestly, I don't know. It's going to be better once it's colder outside, and then it's spending like 18 hours a day in front of my window.
Howdy, stranger.
Hey, howdy. Yeah, you would think that once they cry, they would go home, but it's not really the point. They still don't go home. You should give the kids some sweets so they're silent. Wait, that's wrong. Yeah. I mean, I could just throw it out of the window and hope they don't see me. Just asking again, I don't think you saw how hard I'm painting these. Okay, sorry I did miss it. So it's good that you say it again. Whenever I miss something, just say it a second time. I usually don't skip any questions on purpose. Welcome back, Codeman. That's funny. So it depends. I would say if you're starting with something that doesn't really, you know, have a conventional way of, or that has some certain rules how you should paint them, as in a female face of that size, for example, is really hard. Because every blending that isn't really smooth is going to leave a line, and then the female form kind of gets lost. So male faces with busts are way easier than female ones, for example. And then I would go a step further, saying that anything that is not a human is way easier to paint. So for example, a robot like I have in my shop. So a few robots like that will be easy to paint, quote unquote easy. And if you only ever painted these small pieces, then of course it's a tiny step or a tiny bit different, because I mean, look at it, it's the size comparison, it's just way different, and you have a bit more freedom with contrast and colors and all that. But it's different, but I wouldn't say that it is more difficult. It's easier in some regards, because you have a lot more room to actually apply colors and play around with the colors and put sketching on and so on. But yeah, getting skin color right in that scale is way harder. So I would start with something that isn't necessarily a human, but other than that, it's quite fun to do busts. Oh yeah, it's also easy if you put my name. But again, usually I'm trying to catch everything. Oh, sorry, I also apparently missed. I'm getting used to thinning for airbrushing. I see some people mixing in a glass or such and something straight in the bowl of the gun. That's totally up to experience. So some people just gotten used to mixing somewhere else. Personally, I do mix in the what's it called, the bowl of the gun. Is that the right word? But yeah, I mix right on the airbrush, or in the bowl of the airbrush. I guess when you want to make sure that it's 100% correctly mixed, as in the right ratio, I guess you would mix it outside and then pour it in. But I never work on that basis really. I just go by feeling, really. So I mix in the gun directly. And thanks Memnor for pointing out that I missed something else. Okay. So it's time to leave that to dry. It's still, so on large surfaces it's not that bad, but like I said, here these features that have a lot of crevices and indents and all that, they really soak up the turpentine, and then it's easy to destroy things when you're putting a tool to that again. So it's time to leave this to dry. I've been keeping cheap pipettes, how do you even pronounce it in English, for mixing in. My airbrush is working really good so far. Yeah, I also do that, that's true. So sometimes I will just dip the brush in, but usually it's not a very expensive brush. Just dip the brush into the color and then mix it here. So don't use your best brushes for mixing, obviously. But just being able to put water in it with a pipette and all that is really a good tip. Hey, Basic Miniature Painting, how are you doing? Okay. Right, so that should be enough smoothness for now. Let's see, maybe there's an area here that's still not smooth. Some marks visible here. Okay, yeah, since this needs some drying time, I'll probably end here. I also need to do a few packages that I must not forget. So yeah, thanks a lot guys for watching. I'll be back probably on Monday, so that's already tomorrow. And we'll see what we do. Probably need to finish some painting on the Death Merchant. We'll see how far I get off cam with this. But yeah, if you haven't followed yet, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button. Also on YouTube, don't forget to hit the bell so that you get notified when I upload something. And yeah, check out my social medias, like you can see up here. Boom! I'm on Instagram. That's where I post most of my stuff at the moment. Facebook. Obviously, I do all updates that are that are important on Facebook, and yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for the subscriptions and donations, and also the Patreon pledges. And like I said, I'll be back Monday. I'll be back tomorrow. Let's see, I'm just going to find someone to host too. Yeah, bye guys.